When the latest One Piece chapter came out, fans got really excited because it continued the story about
Goddovary incident.
Even though this part of the story was short, it has some cool hints. I was especially happy to see new characters who are Holy Knights, along with this guy named as Garling Figerland, who many people think is Shanks' daddy. But after this chapter came out, fans started talking about something very interesting. Some of them thought the two of the new Holy Knights looked a lot like characters from the series a long time ago. But before that theory, and to increase my watch time, let's first see who are these Holy Knights. The time when Sabo attacked the Holy Land, regardless of the sheer weight of his steel balls, Sabo somehow managed to run and survive. It wasn't just a big fight, but it also gave fans some really important information and introduced new characters, particularly these Holy Knights, who seem to have a huge role in the future of the story. The Holy Knights were first mentioned shortly after Luffy beat the shit out of Kaido in Wano by Fleet Admiral Sakazuki. Luffy is coming for you, little piece of shit. According to him, the Holy Knights were responsible for dealing with the aftermath of the Reverie events. They had to handle issues caused by the Revolutionary Army and the conflicts involving St. Josgard and St. Carlos. Bro, I really hate their faces so much. So these Holy Knights seems quite powerful and have a lot of control in the Holy Land. They are in charge when things goes wrong between these dumb which shows how important they really are. But in One Piece chapter 1083, it was hinted that they might have a bigger role. And it came true. Though fans didn't see these Holy Knights clearly, they appeared as silhouettes and seem to number 9 so far. They all seem skilled in combats, carrying weapons, and their strength is acknowledged by the man himself, Dragon the Monkey. He said that real shit will start when the Holy Knights gets involved, showing their powers. This seems to be currently above Cypher Pole, indicating a strong force controlled by the No, God! But it's also possible that they are celestial dragons themselves and might be the fighters for them. These Holy Knights are expected to search for Sabo, who caused major troubles during the Reverie. That's their current status in the current timeline of the manga. But what we are looking at in 1096 is God Valley incident, which happened like 38 years ago. So they probably might be looking a bit older now, if they don't have same powers as Gorosei. Like just fucking look at Saturn, man. He's looking at same age as he was 38 years ago. What are even they? Aliens? There was a story about Big Mom's past and a lady called as Mother Caramel. Yeah, remember that old bitch who sold her orphan kids to make her living? Not him. Yeah, that's right, this one. So there was a picture with two kids. One looked like a little prince and the other wore a gas mask and held something that looked like a knife. Two new characters called Holy Knights looked very much like those kids from before. The gas mask on one of the knights is not just similar, but it is that same mask with a few small changes. The other Holy Knight looked a lot like a princely kid. And as we all know, all hail to the mighty Oda, he never randomly put such details without any significant foreshadowing or meaning. The connection between Mother Caramel and the world government and also the celestial dragons might explain how the kids grew up to become Holy Knights in future. The time when these stories happened seems to fit together. The God Valley story happened around 38 years ago, while the kids were shown over 60 years ago. Also, the princely looking Holy Knight seems to be in his late 20s based on how he looks. So all of these dots are connecting perfectly right now. All these clues hints that Oda Sensei has cleverly brought in these characters long before anyone thought they would show up in the story. And again, he has proved himself as the greatest mangaka of all time. What are your thoughts about this theory? Are they the same characters once Mother Caramel sold to the world government? What are your thoughts about it? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos like this. And that's it, and I will see you in the next one. Sayonara.